to have certain kind of personalized contact or personal movie from that. Many whole crisis in terms of not like inconvenient civilization or that we're missing. I actually experienced that. Only way to tap into that whole you could say field is when we start to actually in fiqh, specialists in ilm kalam and so on. They're also specialists as well in this field as to reaching Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they are the one who can actually train us or train people at the time that how to have that increase of the ainul yaqeen, seeing of certainty, and so on. So there's a methodology, a process through which we can learn and practice and actually ascertain and to achieve this inshallah by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remember, as Imam Qais was saying earlier, to the effect that we should be in a state that we are nothing and we know nothing. And that is very important, because in order to actually pour a pure juice of let's say orange juice or a milk in a glass, the glass has to be empty. If it's already full with different things, how can you pour any more in? So that is very important. And there are many realities of life as well. Even scientifically, you only know our bodies, our organs, but there are many things out there. They're actually slowly tapping into it. In terms of now they talk about in the last 70, 80 years about, for example, antimatter and the grey matter, which exists, which is the whole universe. What you see is only 10%, the visible existence. The 90% of that is the invisible existence. They actually believe that. And they call that antimatter and so on. So many things that exist within our body as well, which we do not know. And that's why we have these terms we say, oh, I've got this vibe, I can feel it. Those are the terms. It's not just the expression of thoughts and so on. There are certain realities behind it as well. It's just that in this current day and age, the science has not fully discovered what these are, what does exist in our body and our mind. So there are certain lights that exist. For example, like the spirit, the ruh itself is certain invisible entity that exists within us, that we breathe, we actually see, we can hear, we can taste. There's an energy force within us. And that is we call a spirit or a ruh, for example. Nafs is another. What is nafs? Yes, it's egoistic self. It drives emotions from it. But if you remove the ruh from the body is still there, but it becomes lifeless. There's something is gone missing now. When the ruh gets placed in the body, then there becomes a third entity, which is the emotional self, the nafs, and so on. But we cannot see that. You can cut through the whole of my body. You can see all the organs is there. But where is those lights I'm talking about of ruh or the emotional self and so on? So there are many other things that exist in our body, like different lights, different colors and so on, and they reflect depending on how we are, what state of mind we are in, what state of ecosystem of our emotional self it is, or our character it is, or how we behave with people. They actually have certain reflections in them. They exist. In many, you could say, the traditional Eastern, you could say, wisdom, they've actually named it different things. People still know by these names. But we're not interested in the names of what they said. We are interested in the realities what exist in us. And really, as a Muslim, we should actually know about ourselves, because there's a saying that if you truly want to know Allah, you should know about yourself. Know yourself and you know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is a saying. And so really, what we want to do is, with our body, our organs, our mind, our heart, we should really remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So how you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our body, is we follow the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is remembrance of Allah. Because our eyes or our hand cannot do zikr, and our eyes can see something and remind Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With the tongue, good speech, remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doing tasbihat, that's the remembrance. Remembering of the mind is you actually have this thought that Allah is with me, Allah is seeing me, Allah is hearing me, the presence. Likewise, we can channelize or train our body that every aspect of our body is remembering Allah at whatever capacity and level. Likewise, those lights we're talking about, we can train them, we can purify them. They are like the mirror that reflects certain of our persona and certain of our states as well. And it also gets reflected, for example, when we commit sin, and darkness comes in, there's a certain reflection that comes in our heart. And this is indicated by the hadith, as you know, when son of Adam commits a sin, a dark spot appears in the heart. Now, people who are literalists, people who just believe in the literalist and literally show me the evidence, tell him, okay, cut open your heart and show him where the dark spot that entered because of the sin, apart from maybe because it's, because of maybe high cholesterol and so on, the arteries are blocked. That's a different matter. But we cannot find the dark spot that appeared in the heart according to the hadith where it exists. So it tells you there is a spiritual element. There's a subtle element to our existence, which in this day and age for now it's not discovered yet, but maybe in 500 years time it will be discovered and it becomes like a common knowledge at the time. It will be at the time, inshallah. So it's very important, inshallah, that we're going to go through the presentation and it's going to be interactive, like Imam Qais have asked brothers and sisters on the internet and people who are present here as well, that you go through the presentation slides. I'm going to go through what they are and how to do what, and I want you to also explain to me or come to the journey together so that you know what we actually are talking about, because this becomes very important. If you understand this presentation today, which I'll try to share with you, and you understand, then what happens is, then after, for example, Maghrib Salah and Isha Salah, we'll be doing the first practical the muraqabah or deep thinking process, meditation of these things, inshallah, and how it helps to then attain our objective of see and taste, and to unblock some of those, you could say, darknesses or darknesses which exist within us as well, inshallah. So, inshallah, if you look at the slide now, so as you can see, there's an image of a man. It's not a man, it's a human being rather. It could be man or a woman, but that's not the important part. This is just an example of a man. And showing that different colors of spiritual lights or spiritual centers that exist. So anyone who's sitting in the hall masjid here, you want to sit in a position so they can see the TV screen. Those who especially have not seen it before. Because this important thing is to see and learn, not to see my face. That's not important here, inshallah. Okay, so this is just an image. I'm not going through it yet. I'm just showing you that these are the different lights, or like the pipes of lights that exist within ourselves in different colors as well. So as you can see, red, then orange, then yellow, then green, the light blue, and dark blue or indigo, and white. So we'll go through them in detail, so not to worry, just to give you a snapshot of what exists. And there are more. This is just the main ones are shown. There are more as well. But before this, we want to, first of all, prepare you to know what is it, where are those spiritual centers, or in Arabic, you hear the term Latayf, or like subtle bodies, or Latayf, plural, exist in our body. They're like the spiritual centers that if you actually purify them, if you clean them, they energize you spiritually, and it helps you by Allah's mercy and grace to actually have that spiritual experience thereafter. It's like a car. For example, you had a car which was, let's say, parked in your garage for 6 months. When you bring it out and you crank it up, it doesn't start straight away. It makes all these noises and so on. So you maybe have to, give it a good clean and so on, and run it past, rev the engine up for a few seconds until the engine is ready. Then it's ready to drive. Before then, you hear all this crackling noise, and you think maybe there's something faulty with the engine, or maybe I need to take it to the garage and get it fixed. It's not really working. It's not, because it was almost like abandoned or left for months and months and months. So for it to start, it doesn't just start like that as you would do in a normal car when you drive every day. You need to clean that and make it rev it up and pass through the fuel and so on. It goes to the whole system so that it's ready to fire up and start the car as well. Likewise, our body, maybe we've never actually learned this before. We've never actually remembered Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with all our functionalities of the organs of the body and the spiritual entity as well. So in order to start that and have the spiritual experience, to get that whole body moving in the right direction towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to purify them. And this is what we need to do, inshallah, which exists within our body. So this is mentioned, and what we need to do is, there are actually certain conditions or a foundational, you could say, levels, which we all, I think most of us are aware, which are known as the fundamental practices. 5 fundamental practices, or 5 amals we need to know, and we need to make intention to start. And if you have started, for brothers and sisters who know about this, what I'm talking about, for you to then restart or re-engage and refresh, that is very important, because this forms like a foundation through which, inshallah, we can build our spiritual house and then have the spiritual journey thereafter of the Ruhani spiritual world as well. So this foundation is very key. And just as a quick question, those obviously who have attended before, or they know what these are, if I can ask from the right, what do you understand by those 5 amals? Brother, Rafael, just mention one.
Reliance.
Yeah, reliance in everything you have to have. Reliance is like a thread that actually and puts all the beads together. It's like a chain that connects everything together. I'm not really talking about that. Yeah, that will come after. Okay. Abdul Samad, is it?
Having a close connection to teachers.
Yeah, that's also important. That's part of that journey you need to have. Without that, then this journey will become difficult. But we're talking about certain practices you do as part of the purification, 5 amals. It's not really fair on those who have not seen the presentation, which we'll be covering later on today or tomorrow, inshallah. So you know exactly. I'm trying to see who remembers, who attended before in the past.
Is it these 4
People who cannot see these 4, I don't know what you're talking about, so mention it.
Belief, faith, striving, repentance, and the purification process.
Okay, so the 5 amal is a practical thing. So what we're talking about is, right, yes, the purification course, and part of that, there are 5 things given to you. So that's what I'm indicating. That becomes a basis to purify ourselves, to actually purify our organs of our body. Certain dhikr is done, certain tick sheets is given, rectify our intention, for example, and so on and so forth. Certain muraqabs we do. So they become foundational. The why I'm mentioning this is so that I want people who do not know say that what is this he's talking about, because this will be revealed soon, and so it's very important for you to learn and to practice that. But for now, for this session concerned, the main thing you should focus on is see and taste. This is our aim of this spiritual experience we're going to have, is that once we purify our Latayf, our spiritual bodies, spiritual centers, we want to transfer and to have an experience, to see spiritually what we believe in the unseen, and to taste it to an extent, inshallah. If you can achieve this, you're on the road, you're on the mission now, inshallah, to achieving greater things, inshallah. And so, this is some of these I mentioned, inshallah, already. These spiritual centers, one thing is very important to note. These spiritual centers, or these latifas, they themselves are not the purpose. In many different, you could say, schools of teachings, sometimes the spiritual center becomes the objective itself. Well, I know I've actually, many people say, I've actually awakened my spiritual lights, and they do zikr by themselves, so I've achieved. What we're saying is, no, they're just a means to something else. They're not the objectives themselves. If you can learn them, you can activate them, and they do the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's good. But for us, we have a higher goal to achieve through this, inshallah. So keep that in mind as well. Now, to achieve this spiritual experience, there are 3 levels of experience. Raphael, what's the first one? Okay. You're you've got the ilm, but it's misplaced at the moment. You have to bring it in line in a structured way.
I know the highest one is Ainul Yaqin.
Yeah. This is all we're talking about, Ainul Yaqin here. Okay, that's fine. Leave someone else to go. You're doing all the brownie points now. Okay, good. MashaAllah. Anyone from the WhatsApp, or sorry, not WhatsApp, Zoom, or whichever means? I'll be surprised if those who attended before, they do not know what these are. Ji?
Imagination, thought level.
Okay. Alhamdulillah, good. So what brother or sister has mentioned, that this experience we're talking about, the experience of and having the eye of the certainty of the spiritual experience, this could be achieved or done in 3 levels. So very important for you to accept this. If you can accept those concepts now, if you can accept this now, then you will not have issue later on. Because I can guarantee you, people will say certain issues, and will say, well, remember I told you so. So here, this is the point, is that there are 3 levels, and there are first 2 levels which are in our control. And that is a thought level, i.e. you can follow through, let's say, an instructor in the spiritual practices, meditation, at a thought level. Now you could say, oh, this is just a thought level, just a expression of my mind, or my, what do you call it, imagination. How is this spirituality? No, the thing is, you are trained through the mentorship and to an instructor how to have the right thinking process. Because the spiritual journey is very powerful. The whole of our existence itself, it has a direct link with the spiritual, the ruh, the spirit itself. And remember, spirit is a very powerful thing that's come directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command to our body. It is a creation, but very unique. Yet it has many powerful things. It existed for a long, long time. Did you know that? So our real age is not the age we're in this earth now. The age of spirit is very, very old. It was in a different world altogether. And again, tomorrow, like our young Ustaz Tasif and others will cover that. You'll learn more about this, that where we come from, really, where we are, where we're going. And the spirit has come for a long journey away, and it's got a long journey to go as well. So the ruh, the spirit, is a very powerful thing. And that capacity to think and to thought level, it has a certain reflection of the spirit itself as well. It's just that we've not really taught the proper way how to use that and harness that and to take it to the next level. So remember, this is part of it as well, inshallah. So number 1 is it's in your control. You can also experience or begin the process of spiritual experience is at the thought level. So we do not negate that. That's part of the process. For example, before, let's say, people who never been to, let's say, Scotland and so on, someone shows you the map, like this is the Scotland, this is the M6, goes all the way to Carlisle and then go to further up, and then you took this route and so on, then you end up in Glasgow, for example. Now, you've never been there, but as he shows you the map and tells you and explains the scenery, you get a certain idea now. Okay, this is how it happens. Now, if someone says, no, what do you call it? I don't believe what you're saying. It's just your thoughts. This M6 doesn't exist. I've never seen it. You can't prove it to me. And the town or the city of Carlisle doesn't exist, except for I've seen on a football match that comes on a print screen, and Carlisle United won and whatever else, but it doesn't really exist. It's just the name of a town. And someone said, no, it does exist. You just have to believe in me, in my words, what I'm saying. And then once you travel and transfer, and you actually go through that journey, then you realize these towns and these roads exist as well. But if you at the first instance negate it, no, I don't believe in this, then you're actually blocking yourself to continue and have a greater experience. That's why, for example, this thought level is important to understand and accept. Number 2 is what? Imagination. So imagination is what? Abdul Samad, what do you understand when we say imagination?
Like, for example, if the teacher at the time, at the start, they were leading the session.
No, what do you understand? I'm not talking religious side of it. What do you understand by imagination?
Just like picturing something.
Yeah, mashallah, good. So imagination basically means that you picture something. Because we have this, people say, oh, I can't imagine. And I find it very hard to imagine how they can't imagine. Really, I find it hard to imagine how they can't imagine. And then the first thing you say, can you think of a rainbow? He goes, oh yeah, I can think of a rainbow. And then what do you think about when you think about rainbow? Certain colors, right? Unless you're colorblind, then that's a different matter. So that's another issue we have to deal with as well. So imagination, it's very powerful tool. It's a means to the spiritual level as well. And then the third one, which is not in our control, and this is the blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is a spiritual level. Automatically things happen spiritually as well, and you experience in the many unseen world as well. So those three levels are very important, inshallah. And this inshallah, you go through one after another very, very naturally. It's not that, it happens that you realize. It happens naturally as well. It's very nice and flows. So for the seeker, for person who's learning, for us simply just to go with the flow. And again, you'll hear this very buzzword again and again. It's very important. It's a key to actually mastering this, inshallah. So this will happen automatically. The example giving of a bike. Now we also always say this example of a bike as well. Who can actually explain this experience? Can you give me example how you understood with the example of a bike, Brother Ramzan? So give me an example of a bike, how this happens naturally. Do you know how to ride a bike? Okay. So tell me, how did you learn? What happened first? First ever when you sat on a saddle, what happened? You just straight away to Manchester.
Firstly, you just go with one pedal at a time, slowly, a few yards.
MashaAllah. Yeah.
Firstly, you sit on the bike, try pedaling a few yards at a time. And then when you're a little bit confident, you'll fall here and there first few times, but then it just comes with practice.
So alhamdulillah, can everyone relate to what Brother Ramzan said? Yeah, is that how you learned as well? I mean, the cyclist brother are not here, but maybe you can ask him as well. Is that how you learned? Is that true what he said, Imran? Yeah? Are you sure? So then you automatically sat on the bike. Even before falling, no one hold the bike. That's amazing, that. Straight away, you sat on the bike and start pedaling. Yeah? Who held the bike? Maybe your uncle or your dad, and he's still holding your bike from the back as well. Or for example, your big brother or your friend, hasn't he? He had to hold your bike. If you didn't hold the bike, it was not possible for you to pedal in the first place. So what the example is here is that once we're learning, it's very baby step, thought level. You follow the instructor, just trust in them. Obviously, rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and carry on. If we at the first instance say, no, don't hold me, I don't need to hold me, I need to do it by myself, you'll say it's very hard for you to learn. And we met Brother Tasi was there. One brother, he said in Bangladesh, mashallah, that he said it took him 2 months to learn how to ride a bike, but he never gave up. And I thought I would give up by now. 2 months to ride a bike. Normally it takes you maybe a week. He goes 2 months, and he used to hire a bike every day as well. He used to hire a bike every day, but he said, I'm not going to give up. I want to learn how to ride a bike. So alhamdulillah, these things happen. You can apply this in spiritual learnings as well. Sometimes you're doing it, I can't do it. And then the ustads are there, the instructors are there, so don't worry, do this, do that. What you need to have, what we're telling about the example of the bike is trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, rely on Him, and believe and trust in the brother or the instructor who's telling you to do. If you actually follow those instructions, it becomes very easy to learn, and you can guide yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah. It's not really hard. Why are we mentioning these things? Because we see it, practically day to day. When people come up with all these obstacles by themselves, So this is not happening, that's not happening. And for them to really understand, it becomes hard then, because it's a more subtle level. It's at the level of the unseen, so they don't really understand. Because bike example is easy. If I don't hold on to my dad, I'm going to fall, I'm going to hurt myself. So it's quite common sense to understand. Whereas other things, we think, we have a certain understanding, we don't really capture what we're actually saying here. That just to follow through and then inshallah learn from. So the 3 levels of spiritual experience, inshallah. Now, to actually start this whole experience, which we'll do after Isha Salah tonight, inshallah, is everything there are preparation. And for us, the first preparation is we should check our intention first and foremost, that we're doing purely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing else. And then have the 3 keys in mind. What's the name of the 3 keys, Abdul Samad? It sounds like there's only 2 persons here, Abdul Samad and Rafayul.
3 keys.
Yeah.
Guidance.
Okay. No, I'm saying that when we say 3 keys, what does that refer to? Those are the 3 keys, but what does it refer to? Yeah, mashallah. Our brother Ramzan is present here, mashallah, in month of Dhul Hijjah. That he said is presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his huzuri of Allah. Those 3 keys brings the presence in our life. So what are the 3 keys, Rafael? So these are the realities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is always, he's with me. He sees me. That's one of the sifat, quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that he sees. He's all seeing and he's all hearing as well. So if you can think about this all the time, then you are with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. Either you're seeing him or certainly he's seeing you for sure. So we're going to go through those points, very important, inshallah. Then after that, inshallah, we do a prayer of need, Salatul Hajjah, ask Allah to help us. Remember, everything in life is difficult, it's hard to do. Even you cannot move your eyelids if it's not help and the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there. People who have issue, who cannot move their eyelids, ask them how difficult it is. It is as though someone is rubbing their eyeballs with sandpaper. That's how they feel. When those people who actually suffer from a certain issue with their eyelids as well. For us, it's very easy. We don't even think about. So everything is difficult to do except which the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy for us to do as well. So that's why we have to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala his need, that I want his closeness. Well, Allah make it easy for us and so on. Then after that, inshallah, do 2 rakah Salatul Hajjah and offer the dua, inshallah. Normally adab is, when the teacher is physically present, that we should not do any nawafil prayer in front of them as a respect and mark of adab. This should be more personalized, do at our own time, inshallah, beforehand. Then because of the spiritual journey we're going to do, obviously our ever-present friend is with us as well. Who's that? You know him very well as well, don't you? Yeah. So inshallah, we need to seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from any interferences as well, like the devilish insinuations and so on, because that becomes a blockage as well, or the other matters. So for this protection what we do is we recite those adhkars, those verses of Quran, those surahs, which gives us protection, inshallah, from all evils and all darknesses, within ourselves and from outside. And that is, we're going to recite Surah Fatiha once, Ayatul Kursi once, and the 3 Kuls. Kul Huwallahu Ahad, Kul A'udhu Birabbin Falaq, and Kul A'udhu Birabbin Nas. Then blow on your palm, and then rub it all of your body from head to toe, inshallah. So this is the preparation of the protection. Then there are 3 thoughts we go through just to be in a certain state of mind. And like Ustad Takesh mentioned earlier before Asr, that first of all, we should be in the state of humbleness. Really, we do not depend on, because I've got certain power or capability or ability, or I'm a pious person, I do so many, dhikr, adhkar, recitation of the Quran. No, really, we cannot worship, love, fear, or even remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as He deserves. Not even to our capability, our full potential, what we have, we cannot even fulfill that. So you should really think like in those along those lines, and be humble in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask for forgiveness from all our mistakes and so on. So that's number one we do, the three thoughts. Amongst the three thoughts, first one is what? Hamza? Humbleness, inshallah. Number two is gratefulness, being thankful, showing our gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I do not deserve all these blessings. It is purely Allah's grace, Allah's mercy that He has blessed me with all the blessings, ni'mat in my life. So you can actively, we can think about 1, 2, 3, 4 blessings that we think is really a special thing in my life as well. That brings certain lights and blessings in our life. Then number 3 is reliance. So those 3 which we're mentioning, Rafael is referring here now. Reliance wa tawakkul upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that really I want to have this increase in faith, the spiritual experience and so on, but I do not rely on my own deeds to travel to you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I rely on your grace, your fazl, and on your mercy, that you're the one, you're the doer who will take me to your closeness, not because of any of our deeds. And this is true in the hadith, comes to the effect, meaning of that is that in Jannah, no one would go to Jannah just purely because of the deeds or how much good deeds they've done, but only because of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam have taught us this. So those 3 thoughts before we start is very important. Don't worry if you don't remember everything now. We'll go through it again and again. And even when we actually practice the meditation muraqabah, we'll go through it again. Just so that you know these things that we're going to practice upon. Then after that, inshallah, just before we begin these light practices of the Latayf and so on, there are preparation adhkars, preparation zikr we do. With your tongue, we recite Bismillah once, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And we do astaghfar, because when we do astaghfirullah, when we seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's certain purification that happens. Allah forgives us our sins. There's certain light comes in, darkness goes away. And we want that to happen before we start the spiritual experience. So we do astaghfar 3 times. Then do 3 times Durood Sharif, salawat upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, because there's so much virtue when we say salawat. Inshallah, obviously sins are forgiven. The light and blessing comes in our life. The certain status or darajat are increased as well. And then we're going to do 3 times La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, to prevent any interferences. We again declare and we surrender that, oh Allah, there's no might and power except you. We rely on you to take us to the journey. We have full faith in you. You're the one, you're the doer who's going to take us to the journey. We actually testify that again, inshallah. Then we begin the colors. Now this is most important for you to recognize and remember where they are and what they are. So as you can see, there are 7 dots. They're not really dots, I'll explain to you what they are. But you can see certain round dots in your body. And these are where they exist in our physical body. So the red one, as you can see, is below our, where? Navel, yeah. Below our belly button, inshallah. It's a red color. It's called a red color light or spiritual center. Latifa exists there. Like I said, in 500 years' time, maybe there'll be such technology that you can scan and see this. Like 200 years ago, if you were to say to a patient then that there's a certain thing called X-ray or a MRI scan, and they'll tell you what's your illnesses are inside of you or on your bone without even operating you. They'll say you're mad. What are you talking about? It's the same thing. It's a certain case. Every chemicals, every atom of the body, they give off certain frequency of energy, of light, of vibration. But obviously, we've not tapped into those who are more subtle as well. Inshallah, maybe in the future, maybe in 50 years, we'll discover all this. So it exists. There's a red light exists below our navel. Then there's another one, which is the orange one. It's where? It's on our stomach, on our navel itself, rather. Orange one is where? It's on our belly button, on our stomach. Then there's one on top of that, which is what? Yellow color. So remember the color and where they are. That's important. Yellow one is the stomach, where your stomach is. Many people don't know where their stomach is as well. They think everything is stomach. Now it's true, some people have a bigger one than others as well. So they think everything is just a stomach. No, stomach, yes, belly is the whole thing we say, belly, in general terms, but stomach is actually right on the top of it, just under your diaphragm or your rib cage. That's where the food is processed, and underneath that is all your intestines that exist. So the stomach is there, and imagine all that is your belly, for example. Stomach is there, and intestines and your belly button is there. So yellow is your stomach, yellow latifa. And then the green one, as you can see, is what? It's in your chest level, right in the center of your chest. Then after that, at the throat level is what color? It's light blue, as you can see very clearly. Is anyone colorblind here? Anyone on the internet or on the Zoom? Then if you are colorblind, don't worry, just remember where they are in terms of the actual spiritual centers or the latifa. Okay? So the light blue is in the where? Throat. And then there's a dark blue, or like a purplish indigo color in reality. But let's just say it's dark blue, which is where? On the forehead, between your eyes. And then there's a white one, it's known as a crown latifa. And it makes sense, where do you put your crown normally? Well, you don't, but kings and queens do. Where do they put him? Not unless your name begins with Shah or something, then you might do as well. At the top of your head. Like you're wearing a crown. Everyone's wearing a crown. Look, I'm wearing my crown. That's my crown. Everyone here, the hats and the turbans and the hijab, they're the crown for the Muslims, mashallah. So the white one is above your head. It is a white in color. So again, very quickly, Maghrib time is about half an hour. Just from the right, Brother Asif. Where's the red one? Without looking? Below the way? Okay. Brother Ahmed? Where's the orange one? Navel, okay. You know where the navel is, right? Okay. Imran? Next one? What color or where it is?
Yellow.
Okay, mashallah. Brother Ramzan? Where is it? Chest, yeah, that's good, mashallah. Brother Hamza, where's the light blue? Throat, okay, mashallah. And Brother Shabazz, the dark blue? Forehead is better, yeah, between your eyes. And the white one, brother, yes, brother, what's your name? Iftikhar. Are you from Manchester? Acha, mashallah. Where is the white one, brother Iftikhar? Above your head. Just like you can imagine like hovering, or like I'm wearing a white turban, for example. Mashallah. Now, you know, these are the 7 points, mashallah. Now, they're not actually dots, as you can see. Guess what? They are actually pipes that actually goes through you from front to back. Okay? Brother Ramzan, if you're going to stand here in front of me, and to the side view as well. So look towards the bookshelf when you stand. We don't have those pipes with Brother A just created, or else we'd have shown the pipe. So imagine that, Brother Ramzan, and imagine cross section. So, Brother Ramzan, place your hand when Brother said where the red latifa is. Where is the red one? Below your navel. So imagine that his right hand is on the red latifa, yeah? But so he cuts across. Sorry, I need the mic as well. So he cuts across, the pipe, the red latifa comes all the way across and at the back as well. So it's not just a spot at the front, he cuts all the way across. So as you can see the image now, look, is that the front part is there, it goes all the way, and the back part of this pipe, if you want to think of a pipe, it goes all the way to where his back is, lower back is. Is that clear? I don't know, brothers or sisters in Zoom, is that clear for you so far? I'm not on the Zoom actually. Okay, so like this. Okay, next one very quickly. Where's the orange one? Brother Ahmed, tell Brother Ramzan where the orange one is. Navel, mashallah. Belly button, for example. If you don't know what it is, just feel it with your finger, then you know where that is, inshallah. Okay? So again, it's cutting across through the whole person, like a cross section, if you can imagine. Then the yellow one, where's the yellow one, Brother Shabazz? Stomach. Do you want to place your hand in your stomach? MashaAllah, Brother Ramzan knows his stomach is. MashaAllah. Okay, that's good. So that's, again, is yellow one. Yellow one going from stomach at the front and then the back. at the same level. And then the next one is green. Where's the green one, Ramzan? Where is it? Chest, mashallah. So at the front part is there, but it's going all the way through his chest, coming out at the back at the same level. Then similarly, throat. Yeah, where's the throat? Mashallah, you know what it is. And then it starts from your throat and it finishes where your neck is at the back. Similarly, between your eyes, forehead, you touch your forehead, and it goes right down from the back of his head as well. And the white one is, so imagine he's wearing a black hat, but imagine it's a white hat. It starts at the front of the hat, and it goes all the way to the back of the hat as well. So it cuts through. So you imagine the light comes at the front and goes to the back, which is like a flow of light, air going through. You're very aerodynamic, by the way. We are, in reality, if it's all cleansed, we are very aerodynamic. You can fly, literally, inshallah. Okay, Jazakallah, Brother Ramzan. So that's the three-dimensional image of the Latifas. Now very quickly, the actual practice, how to energize them, how to clean them. Remember I said earlier that with everything in our body and in our existence, we want to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some people can, it's a skill. For example, my hand, for example, is a skill. I can use the hand to learn how to write, how to do calligraphy. I can use the hand to help someone, or I can use the hand to do what? Hit someone, or kill someone, or steal. So the hand has a quality to do certain skills. Is that correct? Likewise, with this Latifa, you can use to positive use, like we are going to learn how to do, remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some people want to do something else. That's their problem, not our problem. And if you do something evil practices, something else you want to do, it's a powerful, it's a skill, it's a power, it's a skill. It's how you harness it to remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's all, inshallah. So that's why those Latifa, those spiritual centers by themselves are not objective. They're just helping you along for a greater purpose, inshallah. So how do you practice it? Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and clean it. So there are 3 stages to this. There are how many stages? 3 phases or 3 stages. Number 1 stage is you imagine the name of Allah shining above, very white light. And as you breathe in, so this is to do with your breathing exercise. As you breathe in, you breathe in through your nose and you breathe out through your mouth. You breathe in through your nose, you breathe out through your mouth. That's the pattern that you do, inshallah. So imagine that you learn to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even in your breath as well. Imagine that person is doing ibadah and so on, but even his breath is controlled, that he's remembering Allah while he's breathing in and breathing out. So you imagine, or she imagine, the name of Allah is shining above. As you breathe in with your nose, the light is penetrating, going through your top of your head and going all the way through all your spiritual centers and all the way to the bottom, as you can see in the image. And it's, literally, it's as though when you stand below a shower and the water washes away everything, all the dirt, this is like a light penetrating and spiritually cleaning you as you breathe in. So now quickly have a practice with me. Imagine, close your eyes, you're breathing in. Imagine the light from the name of Allah is going through you and cleaning everything inside. Nothing is remaining, no darknesses, nothing. And then as you then breathe out, you breathe out through your mouth, all the darknesses, all the worries, all the thoughts, all the mistakes, everything which is collected inside of us is collecting by this white light and is pulling it out, is purging it out. And as you breathe out, this darkness of this light is leaving from my mouth and going back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will deal with it. Allah will forgive this. Could be worry, could be concern, could be darknesses of sin, could be many things, distractions in life. Everything is leaving your body now. So that's the first level of cleansing of the spiritual centers. Any questions so far?
How many times do you do that?
That's what you do with the instructor, inshallah. Once you learn, they'll tell you how many minutes you do it for and so on. Just don't want you to focus on the process itself. So that's the first phase, inshallah. Then once you do this for, let's say, answering your question, Asif, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever long you do, and then they'll move into the second phase or second stage. There, what we do is we go through individual cleaning of the spiritual centers, individually. Before we did it all at once, at the beginning, in the second stage we do what? Individually. How we do individually is this. So, we start from the bottom, which is the red one below our navel. We first of all imagine the name of Allah is above our head, shining in beautiful red in color, because that will reflect your, the inner red latifa. You feel as though Allah is with me, Allah is seeing me, Allah is hearing me. And as you eyes are closed, as you breathe in, deep breath in with your nose, this red light is coming down from the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And is entering through your nose. Look at this image. The red light is coming down, descending, and is entering through his nose or her nose. And then the red light is flowing inside. And then where the red latifa is at the front, it is entering there. And it's cleaning. And then as you breathe out with your mouth, this red light is cleaning inside and is leaving from the back, leaving your red latifa very clean and very pure and enlightened. So you breathe in. It's a quick practice as I'm going through now. Close your eyes. Red light above your head, name of Allah. You breathing in with your nose, deep breath in. Red light is coming down, entering through your nose. Red light is going down inside of you. The red latifa, red spiritual center is below your navel, is entering there. And now start to breathe out with your mouth. Deep breathe out. So you can even act it out like that. As you breathe out with your mouth, imagine that it's cleaning that red latifa, red spiritual center, and the light is leaving from the back at the same level. Okay? You can open your eyes now, inshallah. Now the next one. A few minutes later, the instructor will say, okay, let's move to the next one. Again, Allah is with me, Allah is seeing me, Allah is hearing me. Next one is what color? Quickly? Orange. And guess what? The name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a support from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The name of Allah becomes orange as well. You imagine that. And then as you breathe in, again, same process. The light comes down as you breathe in, goes through your nose, flows down. And where the orange latifa is now, your navel, where the belly button is, the orange light, pure, pristine orange light is entering there. And as you breathe, take a deep breath out with your mouth, is cleaning that orange spiritual center on the navel, and is leaving from the front or back, as you can see in the diagram. So same process as we did the red one. And remember this just as a clue, each of these colors of latifa has a specific meaning to your life. It's almost like a specific mirror that lights up or reflects what you do in your daily actions. Sin, it reflects it. Good action reflects it. And that's why you're cleaning it so that you rid of the evil side of it, inshallah. Same process we do with the next one, which is what? Abdul Samad? Yellow. Which is on the stomach area. Name of Allah, yellow. We breathe in. Yellow light is entering through our nose. Is flowing down. Then is entering to the front of the stomach where the yellow latifa is. And as we breathe out, it's cleaning it. Can you see the spark of light inside? And then the light is leaving from the back as we breathe out with our mouth. Very easy. Anything complicated so far? And on Zoom as well? Brothers, sisters, anything? Either they're practicing and they're flying through it, or they're all zooming in or zoomed out. Okay. Next one is, inshallah, after that is beautiful. The name of Allah turns into green in color. So green name of Allah is pristine, green color. As you breathe in, going through your nose, flowing down where the green latifa is. Where the green latifa, Shabazz? Chest is entering there. So imagine going down, entering there. And as you take a deep breath out, is cleaning that and leaving from your back, from the back at the same level, inshallah. Then very quickly, next one is what? Light blue. Light blue or sky blue, light blue in color. As you breathe in, name of Allah obviously is in light blue in color now. Light is entering there, going through your nose as you breathe in with your nose. And as you breathe out, as you breathe in, it's going through the throat and it's cleaning it, and as you breathe out, it's leaving from the back of the neck. Then after a few minutes, the instructor will say, okay, next moving on to now, imagine the name of Allah is dark blue, indigo in color. Allah is with me, Allah is seeing me, Allah is hearing me. The light is entering. Now here, the first 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, same process. The 6th one, which is what? As if forehead, which is the dark blue. The color is important here. Dark blue indigo. As you breathe in with your nose, the dark blue light is coming down from the name of Allah and is entering directly, not going through your nose anymore because it's above your nose, isn't it? It's above your nose, so it enters directly to your forehead, and as you breathe out with your mouth, it leaves from the back of your head. That's the only difference here. Because anything up to the below your nose level, it goes through the nose and then enters, and then as you breathe out, comes out at the back. But anything above your nose, it just goes direct, because nose doesn't have to interfere. But you breathe in with your nose, it enters direct, and as you breathe out with your mouth, light is leaving from the back of back of your head. Then final one. What's the final one? White one. So as you breathe in, very same as before. You breathe in with your nose, light is coming down from the name of Allah and entering through the front part of your latifa, or top of your head, directly entering this time. And as you breathe out with your mouth, the light is leaving from the back of that latifa, inshallah. So this completes the 7 individual colors of the purification of the second stage. One more stage left. What's that? The third stage is very similar to first stage. In fact, looks the same. The difference here is that first stage, you're cleaning it, like an overall wash. It's like, you have a clothing, you have so many, different dirts in this white piece of cloth here. What you do is you give a general wash, then you have a special bleach or chemicals you add there, because you got a blue mark there, yellow mark there, red mark there, and you start scrubbing like that to get it to individual ones, mark or the stains that you have. So what happens is, first of all, you do overall cleansing, first stage. Second stage, you do individual ones, deal with individual issues. The third one is clean. I put the soap, you do start washing away. It becomes enlightening now. This is enlightening phase. So as you breathe in now, with your nose again, the light from the name of Allah is again directly penetrating, and it's filling you up now, filling all your spiritual centers, your body inside. It's filling you up, and like a light, and you're expanding like a balloon. When you pour air in a balloon, it fills up, doesn't it? So this pure light is filling you up, is energizing you. Everything inside of your spiritual centers and your body is filling you up like a balloon. And then as you breathe out, so breathing exercise is still the same. You're breathing in, it's filling you up, light is coming down, filling you up. So practice with me now. Imagine the third stage now. You imagine the name of Allah is white. As you breathe in, the white light is coming inside of you, is filling you up, is enlightening you, is expanding you like a balloon as you breathe in. And as you breathe out with your mouth, imagine you feeling lighter, i.e. the body getting lighter and lighter. You breathe in, light is filling you up inside of you. As you breathe out, body getting lighter and lighter. That's the third phase. Until then something happens, and that's very important to follow. Until the point comes, your body gets so light that you start to feel as though your body doesn't exist, it's disappearing. Your legs disappearing, your thighs disappearing, your stomach is disappearing, your chest, your throat, your head, everything, body has disappeared. It's as though, yes, you obviously can feel your body, but imagine it's as though it disappeared. I'm not focusing on my body anymore. And some people, it does happen, I can guarantee you, inshallah. Those who say I completely, slept, I become unconscious. That is a sign that, it's completely disappeared from your body, for example. So the body, everything disappears except only the red, the colors that exist, the latifas exist inside of you. So as you can see the image here is giving an illustration that the body has disappeared, only the body is enlightened, and all the latifa, all the spiritual center now exist and nothing else. And obviously spirit, his ruh as well. Then what happens is, one by one, guess what happens? This is what Ustad Kes was saying, that we are nothing. We become completely annihilated in a sense in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even the red one disappears now. Look, red one disappeared, yellow's disappeared, green disappeared, light blue, dark blue, white, they're all disappeared. It's only like a light of shell inside of you, of purity. And what happens is then you imagine there's a spiritual body of light is come in front of you. Like an image of you, but of light is come in front of you. And now you're getting ready to spiritually transfer. This is the golden spiritual transfer. How does that happen? all this time your breathing is carrying on. The breathing exercises are carrying on. Until the point where comes, you take a few deep breaths, and finally you take a golden breath. Can you see the golden breath? And as you take the golden breath, what happens is you imagine that yourself, your consciousness, you as a person, your spirit, you have now left your body and transferred to the spiritual body. So let me give you a few seconds just to collect your thought. That finally when everything is disappeared, you're full of light, only your light, that from the name of Allah and the spirit exists, and now the spiritual body in front of you, you take, ready, and you transferred. This could happen, like I said, thought level, imagination level, at a spiritual level. That doesn't matter. You just go with the flow. It looks like everyone transferred already. No one's saying anything. Anyone on the Zoom, have they transferred already or they're struggling? Inshallah. So after that, as soon as you transfer, here's the role and the duty of the Shaykh, of the teacher comes in. Like Ustad Qais was saying earlier, that it is their duty now to guide you. Imagine that if you want to go from here, from Bolton to Manchester, if you've never been, we have to a sat-nav, or else, we're going to lose our way. We might spend a couple of hours going around M62. I'm telling you, you don't want to get stuck in M62. Brother Asi would know how difficult it is. 30 miles take you 2 hours to drive. And I've experienced that daily for 2 years as well. Imagine that, 30 miles, 2 hours to drive. So imagine in Ruhani world, you will be completely lost, and then Mr. Iblis is there waiting for you as well, if you're on your own. So you need a guide who you trust for sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So straight away, as soon as you transfer, you just imagine your teacher is with you. Find your teacher. I'm not going to these words, I've explained that. So this is the teacher, Hazrat Shaykh Ahmad Dabbagh, like Imam Qais explained earlier. He's our guide spiritually, he'll take you. That's their duty. A special gift, special, closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The duty is given that they actually take you to a spiritual journey as well. And how does that spiritual journey happen? Obviously, the instructor who are here physically, he'll tell you, okay, we go in here now, traveling here and there, and you just go with the flow. Imagine spiritually traveling. So as though you travel to the skies, like a ball of light is traveling, is going across the mountains and the skies, and then we pay respect to Shaykh Ahmad Dabbagh, his Shaykh, because it's only fair that these are the teachers who actually taught us by chain throughout the centuries. So the Shaykh here who are residing in Morocco, in Fez, his name is Hazrat Shaykh Abdul Aziz Ad-Dabbagh, which is the Shaykh of Shaykh Abdul Ahmed Dabbagh, our teacher, that he then introduces you. So this is our Grand Shaykh. There, Hazrat Sahib Shaykh, our Grand Shaykh. He introduces you. You get to see him. He's also of a Ahlul Bayt, direct descendant of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, through Sayyidina Hassan radiallahu anhu and Sayyidina Hussein radiallahu anhu, from the double. So it's like a double barrel of the bloodline of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in him, who are residing in the blessed city of Fez in Morocco. Now, Morocco is a very unique country as well. One of the highest concentration of Ahlul Bayt, the descendants of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, actually exist in Morocco as well. Because the blessing, there's a history behind that, I'm not going into it, but many of the Ahlul Bayt, they were escaping from the persecution of the evil or the rulers at the time, and they took refuge of Maghrib, which is known as the end of the earth of the time. And that's why Morocco is the highest number of Ahlul Bayt exist anyway. So then they'll take you there, introduce you there. Then from there, for example, there's the shrine of Shaykh Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Dabbagh as a mark of respect. Obviously, we pay homage. Our Lord is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we worship Him. But in a spiritual journey in this, we meet spiritual people, the friends of Allah. Like you hear in the night of Miraj, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who did he meet? Obviously, Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam, he was the guide. So who's greater? Here's another question to think about. Who is greater, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam or Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam? Of course, Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But in the physical journey in the night of Miraj of Ascension, still Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught us, you and I, that you need a guide to take you, like a guide who takes you in a tour. So in this case, spiritually, Shaykh Ahmad Dabagh is your guide to take you to spiritual journey. But in that night of Miraj, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam met many things. He went to Jannah, he met people of Jannah, people of Jahannam. He met different Anbiyas, different prophets in different heavens. Like Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. So spiritually, entities, spiritual root, they exist. So likewise, when you go to the Shaykh and meet, you can meet different personalities like that, like Shaykh Sayyidina Abdul Dabagh. You can meet, for example, Shaykh Sayyidina Abdul Qadir al-Jilani, Ghaus Pak, because they're the awliya, they're the friends of Allah. Then you can even meet different, you could say, pious people of the past. And then eventually, you arrive at like our destination, inshallah, in Medina Sharif, in a spiritual sense. Even in old days, at olden times of Medina Sharif as well. And if you're lucky enough, you can even do ziyarat. Our teacher, Hadrasa, will introduce you and do the visitation or the witnessing of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is possible in a wakefulness state. You hear about dreams that if you see Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in your dream, then his haqq is truth, because shaitan cannot interfere. So dream at a lower level. If you're trained in a right manner under the right guidance, there are different levels of interaction and spirituality, and the yaqeen that could be done in a, you could say, wakefulness state as well. So you go to Masjid Nawawi there, and then the journey continues. From there, you'll be introduced. Then you can go to Kaaba Sharif spiritually there, do your ibadat there. You do Allah dhikr there as well. And not only that, because the spiritual journey is all of light, you might find yourself with the teacher inside of the Kaaba. Imagine that. You can't even imagine in a real sense, in the worldly sense, to go inside. And spiritually, it's all open for people of pious and righteousness and those who follow him or follow them. And then after that, the whole journey continues. For example, like the Miraj. So the Sayyidina Abdul Dabagh, then for example, Imam Abu Hassan al-Shadili, then Sayyidina Abdul Qadir al-Jilani, then Sayyidina Ali Hussein radiallahu anhu, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the mother of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam as well. You can meet them. Kaaba Sharif, from Kaaba Sharif to Masjid al-Aqsa. This is the journey Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam himself took, from Kaaba Sharif to Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, Bayt al-Maqdis, and to the heavens. And the journey is endless. So this is the potential. Last thing I say before you finish, inshallah. This is the capability and the potential every single human being, especially Muslims, because you have to be Muslim first, of course, have the potential to reach those heights spiritually. Remember, there's a very famous saying that Salah namaz is a miraj, is an ascension for the believers. When you place your face on the carpet, on the sajda, that should be an apex of your worship, of your spirituality. But why don't we experience these things? Except for words. I have the knowledge of it. I have the information. I have the right understanding even, for example. I've learned from the rightly guided mashayikh and the teacher. But now for us to go to the next level, you need to learn this. And this is possible at whatever level for every single one of you and I. That's what we're created for. Allah wants us, to worship Him, to get to know Him. So if He's created for that purpose, why can't we achieve it? If we do not achieve it, it's only because of my own barriers, which Imam Qais have covered before. Those are the barriers, becomes an obstacle to reaching these things. So it becomes what? Self-inflicting. So no one to blame except ourselves. Can't even blame shaitan. In the day of judgment, we'll go to him and say, because of you, this is my condition now, this is my state. He'll say, no, do not dare blame me. That because of me you become doomed. It's because of your own fault. Has no messenger come to you? You've not received any message? I've only invited you. I wasn't sultan, I wasn't over you, some kind of authority. You followed by your own choice. So imagine that. Normally when the criminals get caught, they try to blame each other. Oh, it's his fault. Oh, because of you this happened. Here, even the biggest criminal, he'll say, oh, it's not my fault, it's your own fault as well. So we'll be left to our own devices. We will be left to our own doom and gloom, inshallah. So that's why you need to learn this and to reach our potential as much as we can, inshallah. So these are some of the details very quickly. I think Azad's going to go in 3-4 minutes. So we need to learn the order, how it's done, practice it regularly, learn the methodology, how it's done, and the transfer of the spirit. So don't worry if you don't remember, but know the 3 level of what? 3 3 level of? No, 3 level of experience. What are those 3 levels?
Thought, imagination.
And spiritual experience itself. MashaAllah, number good. Now the methodology, the order is what? Number 1 is, how do you begin the whole thing, whole meditation? I think our Zoom people I think they're all knocked off. No one's saying anything. That's the blessing of being in person as well. When people say, oh, thing is, I can watch on live, I don't have to go in person. You can see the benefit that you're alert, you're live, you're kicking, inshallah. So, first process is, how do you start is your intention. Then bring in what? Brother Shahriar, is it? Iftikhar? You bring in your, naturally think about it. Intention, then you bring the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, 3 keys. Then after that, I'm a bit scared. What's going to happen to me? What shall I do? Seek protection. And how do you seek protection? Adhkar, Surah Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi. But before all that, we have to start with what? 2 rakah Salatul Hajat. Then intention, then the protection Adhkars. Then after the protection Adhkars, there are 3 thought processes to show a certain state we are in to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What are those states? Yeah, mashallah, 1. Brother Rafael is not here. So, who said that? Gratefulness, mashallah, very good. Brother Imran, that drinks really did you well as well, mashallah. You're live, mashallah, good. Abdul Samad, humbleness mentioned, gratefulness mentioned. What's the 3rd one? Reliance, yes. So 3 things, 3 thoughts, what? Humbleness, thankfulness, and reliance. Then after that, we do a start-up adhkar, start-up zikr. What are those? Brother Amr, what's the first one? MashaAllah. Brother Ahmed, I know your zikr is later on at tahajjud time. Okay. There's something missing from salah before salawat. Astaghfar, yeah. So inshallah, lots of astaghfar tonight, yeah, we'll join you inshallah. So astaghfar 3 times, salawat, durood sharif 3 times, and then la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah 3 times. Then after that, we begin the practices, the latifa, the spiritual cleansing practices. How many phases are there? Hamza? Okay, mashallah. Anyone on the Zoom, what's the first phase? I think I should log into the Zoom now.
They're saying 7.
7 phases. They must be on a higher level then. They should come and sit teachers as well. There are many levels, of course, yes. There are 360 or more levels as well, mashallah. Yes? Okay. There are 3 phases. Number 1 is overall cleaning. Number 2, 7 individual ones. Number 3, again, overall enlightenment. Very easy to know. First of all, you clean everything overall. Then you focus on individual ones, 7 ones. Phase 2. Phase 1, overall cleaning. Phase 2, individual cleaning. Phase 3 is putting your fragrance on. Once you washed it, what are you going to do? You put fragrance on, right? So I think time for namaz now. So 3 phases, remember. First is overall cleaning. So phase 2 is individual cleaning. Phase 3 is light is entering, filling you up, enlightening you. Body is disappearing. Spiritual body in front of you. Transfer. Find the teacher and go with the flow. Yes?
When you find the teacher, do you imagine them in the normal form or in like live spirit form?
If you can do that, then you're on a higher level already. But just the form that you know. You know, the physical form that you see and meet them every day, inshallah. But that's the best thing to do, inshallah. Yeah. And the closest thing to do, mashallah. Anything else before we call for azan? And inshallah, for the people on Zoom, the next session will begin. Now it's a break because many people are fasting and the namaz and musun adhkars. This will be running on Zoom, so you can participate in our adhkars and so on. But the next practical session, what we just learned now, the very practical session will begin after Isha prayer at 11:25. 5 minutes just to get the technicalities right. 11:30 we start. You don't want to miss the boat then, inshallah, especially the practices. So 11:25, everyone be ready in exactly 2 hours now. Be ready for the first practice session, inshallah. So with this, I conclude the session. And if you have any questions, please flow through your questions. We can answer throughout the sessions and throughout the days as well. Because remember, the intention isn't to teach you or just give you lectures. It's to have the interaction for you to learn, and you can learn to practice well, inshallah. Jazakallah. Subhanakallahumma hamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka